Like, this
you man don't know
You
about
just
this.
glow up the other culture.
Yeah, so you'll see a guy who's had a black girlfriend, all of a sudden he's got buzz cut, like clean shape up. Glows up, bro.
Yeah, I like that.
Glows the fuck up.
They shave their hair because they start losing it. Because they're so stressed being around this black girl complaining about shit all the fucking time. That's why they gotta shave their hair.
Nah, bro. White guys with black girlfriends, they
grow
step,
a beard
they step
because
their dick
there's
up.
more cushion when they get slapped the fuck out of. That's hilarious. I think the black girlfriend effect. It might be a protective instinct, bro.
You think?
Protective.
Do you guys have you ever had black girlfriends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever had white girls?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. What's your favorite?
We love them all.
Yeah.
Oh really?
We love them all.
Yeah.
That means white.
Who gives
That means what?
Hey, let me get a email translation.
Kendrick fans? Get him!
With her name is it doesn't matter anyways. But she was on a TV show. I can't remember what TV show it was called actually. And this girl that I was fucking with at the time used to watch that TV show, and she was like, "Oh, there was this girl that." Because she wants mixed race kids, like her heart is set on it, so she wants a black man. That's all she goes for, black men.
Yeah.
And there's this girl that she used to watch on a TV show who was obviously black. She was like, "Oh, I wish I was her." I'm thinking, what?
Jesus Christ.
She kept on saying, "Oh, I wish I was black. I wish I was black." I'm thinking,
Jesus Christ.
what?
For starters, if you was black, you wouldn't be getting any black men. So I'm just saying.
So do you think the royal family is like losing their like influence on culture?
Yeah, I think they got like 50 years tops.
Whoa.
I think less.
If you go to like when it's stuff like the royal wedding and like the jubilee and all this kind of stuff, most of the people there are American. Like English people, we really don't care.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, is it valuable just to hold on to for tourism?
Tourism,
Yes,
100%. It does crazy stuff for
Because it's
tourism.
fun to look at when they walk around or whatever.
Buckingham Palace is out there.
Yeah.
You know any of them
Living
guards?
Know them.
No one knows a god, bro.
But like, none of your boys is like, yo, I'm going out for the standing still job. Like, what do they like when they're not standing still all day?
I don't know anyone who's ever known
Yeah.
a god.
Facts.
Ever.
Do they have black ones? I never seen a black one.
Nah.
Because you know they be laughing.
Yeah.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you guys are new. Hi, it's Keisha, nice to meet you all. Get in here because we've got quite a bit to go on into. We're gonna go ahead and talk about James and Fuhad, who have a podcast called ShxtNGigs, aka Shitty and Giggly, because that's what they love to do on people's podcasts and not defend black women. I'm gonna literally speak from my heart, speak from my mind. If I'm being quite honest with you, I'm not necessarily surprised by this. I am from London. I know a lot of my content is based on like Americans and like celebrities over on there, just because it's more entertaining and just because I prefer to engage in the celebrity culture over there, as it can be quite boring over here. If you're from the UK and you watch my channel, then you know exactly what I mean by that. That's not to say that there isn't any great creators over here. I still watch them. There's YouTubers that I watch, there's influencers that I follow from here. But if we're talking about entertaining or talking about messiness, I feel like Americans really give that. Today, that's not the case. Today, we're going to be talking about British creators, James and Fuhad. I'm going to be ranting, I'm going to be speaking my mind, and I urge you guys to voice how you guys feel down below. This controversy is about the ShxtNGigs podcast, aka James and Fuhad, one being mixed race and one being black, you know, dark-skinned man. You can evidently see. I wouldn't say I'm a massive fan of ShxtNGigs, not because they've done something crazy. I mean, up until now, I didn't really know about a lot of things, but I think that with the whole situation that's happened within the last week or so, more and more things are coming out, and I can't necessarily say I'm surprised, and I think it's because you shouldn't be surprised by a stranger. At the end of the day, yes, you guys could love watching their podcast. Maybe it takes away the craziness that is your life, so you turn to their content and you truly enjoy watching them. For me personally, I try not to do that for any creators anymore, because people are going to let you down and disappoint you, and you're going to actually find out that a lot of people's values don't align with yours. I don't think that these men like black women. I don't think. It doesn't matter how people try and flip it, turn it, spin it, twist, bitch, they do not like black women. It's point blank period, okay? They don't like them enough to date them, at least, okay? But they also don't like them enough because then you go on a podcast, don't know why you're on that podcast, and you decide to literally allow them to mock black women. But it's one thing to put it on Andrew Schulz, aka the guy with the thick ass moustache, come looking like Hitler, brother. I don't think you like black women, because there's a video of you literally that's resurfaced that was on YouTube to begin with in the first place. So it's like, how do people not clock it before? I see their clips specifically on TikTok. I sometimes laugh more time I'm just scrolling just because I am scared of a man with a microphone unless he's singing. But even at that, sometimes I do get scared too because the notes people will be pulling. Anyways, I'm scared of a man with a microphone just because a lot of them do not speak sense. They don't have words of wisdom. It's either who pays on the first date, which I'm tired of that conversation, like shut up. Or it's a conversation of disrespecting black women. And that seems to be the case for today. Or it's just people yapping. And it's mainly coming from insecure people who are just projecting a lot of the time. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily sit down to watch a ShxtNGigs podcast, but I know they're very popular. I know people really do love them. I think they've gone on to do amazing things like sell out the O2 Arena, which is a huge achievement. So they should be proud for all of these amazing successes. But if we're talking about black women, which is the conversation for today, they do not like black women, and they're making it very clear. Now, they love their mother, they love their sisters, they love their cousins, aunties, they love their grandmom, but they don't love black women enough to date them, which is completely fine. I think you're allowed to have your preferences, sure, but to disrespect other people, to disrespect that group of person you wouldn't date in the process of it is disgusting, and it's done in distaste. For me personally, I'm open-minded because I feel it's good to be that way. People like what they like, it's really as simple as that. But I do also think being open-minded as a dark-skinned woman is very important, because you will often go to spaces and you will think, oh, because somebody looks like me, it means they're accepting of me. But no, and it's kind of like they slam the door right in front of your face. Guys, I really do want to have a deep real conversation, and whether it can apply to you guys and you guys understand where I'm coming from or not, I need you guys to listen to black women when we're speaking about these things, okay? It's very important.
I've been doing Black Ballad for 10 years, and you know what just has not changed in this time of doing Black Ballad? Black men chatting shit about black women.
Honestly, when it comes down to it, I just think that James and Fahad don't like or rate black women. That's just the bottom line of it.
And I don't think they ever gave like pro-black women or even pro-women in general. I just think the standards of men on podcasts is so low that anything like contrary to like fresh and fit is seen as like, wow, you're one of the good ones. So it makes sense why a lot of women, especially black women, would like see their podcast as a safe space in comparison to everything else that's out there.
I would definitely encourage for people to just be open-minded with dating, and you'll be surprised at people's types. You would be. And I think you just have to be accepting of that, because each to their own, and what's for you will never pass you. Now, when they were called out for it, they made an apology video, and I'm doing this because it was literally probably one of the worst confusing apologies I've ever seen.
PSA, quick acknowledgement. So if you know, you know. If you don't, that's fine. But we just wanted to address something that's happening at the minute. This past weekend, there's been a couple of clips going around from when we did a session on the Flagrant podcast while we were on our US tour. And yeah, there were a few jokes made that were incredibly inappropriate. One specifically pertaining to black women. And in the clip, Andrew was making a joke. I'm not even going to get into specifics. Making a frankly racist joke. And we were laughing at it. And to give, there's first of all, before we get into like specifics or anything like that, obviously there's just literally no excuse. There is no excuse.
Agreed.
And fight or flight is a real thing. Like it is, yeah. Fight or flight is a real thing, and it's so not easy to say, but when you're in the situations, you look at it through a lens of like, bro, if it was me, I promise you I'll stand up, I'll kick them cameras down, I'll smack homeboy in the face, I'll say this, I'll do that. But when you're in there, you're in shock.
You're in shock, and all you want to do is move on.
Yeah, bro, move on is the fucking word, bro. All you want to do is fucking move on. Just move on to the next thing. Just move on to the next thing.
There's so
and like we had to say a few times, bro, just move on. Just move on.
So many different topics. We were like, move on.
Yeah.
And it's not even like about pity laughs or anything, but we just wanted to
get out of that situation.
Literally get out of that situation, keep the ball rolling. And we thought it was going to be more of like a bros chat.
Yeah,
it ended up being something.
Ended up being something that's like really, really hurt people that look to us for support and look to us to feel protected. And protected is the main thing that I wanted to discuss. Is that it is our duty to protect you guys.
Facts.
And it is definitely not cool to be in that situation. And again, not be the ones to stand up and kick the cameras down. And we fucked it on that occasion.
We did.
It's not going to happen again. And it's about being human. It's about realizing that you don't know what you're prepared for. You don't know how to prepare for something
you don't know,
what's going to happen. And once it's happened one time, you're like, fuck, all right.
You learn from your mistakes, and that's literally
learn
from your mistakes.
Yeah, we fucked it, and we're sorry.
You definitely do apologize.
It's, for me, like, it's one of them ones where you don't realize that, like, for one, when you're part of a community, you don't realize that you can hurt your own community.
Especially
when you're not, when unintentionally.
Unintentionally, for real.
And also, on top of that, it was so crazy that, like, the narrative that's been spun about how we feel about our community, the irony of the fact that whilst the whole reason we're in that country was to just show how much we love our community and show how much we love our supporters and how much time we spent at the shows and just like getting to know people and just like understanding our community better and just like making friends and making bonds and showing love, and they're showing love. And this whole 6-week trip was just about showing how much we love our community and how much our community show out for us. And then to have that exact same trip be the reason that we're having to have this conversation now. But at the end of the day, mistakes make you a better person.
Mistakes do make you a better person.
You're not born a perfect person. And yeah, we don't condone, we don't appease that behavior, we don't rate it. And we don't want you guys to think that we were sat in that room rating what's going on.
We hold our hands up, we apologize, you learn from your mistakes, and we hope we don't let our community down again, because ultimately we do this for you guys. Like,
yeah, you guys are all we have, man.
You guys are literally all we have.
Probably laughed before clicking the record button, but hey, yeah. I just don't think these men like black women, point blank period, unless it's their mother or sister, but sure. As much as ShxtNGigs are to blame for this whole situation, more emphasis needs to be put on this dirty man. Like, I generally every time I see a clip of him, I'm just like, what the flip are you doing here? Like, why? He might be one of the worst types of people to come across, because him and, what's that guy's name? I think it's Zach Justice. They love to make jokes and blame it on dark humor and blame it on comedy. Okay, now granted, Andrew Schulz has like a Netflix special. He would be called a comedian or whatever. For me, he's not funny. And I'm all here for dark jokes, but not at the expense of talking about different races and cultures. Why don't you just focus on yours? Somebody who has to literally dibble and dabble and nitpick things about other communities, babes, you have, like, don't you have a life that you've lived and want to share your experiences about? Like, why does it have to be a cultural thing? If you're still making race jokes in 2024, you're tapped. You're absolutely strange. I mean, never should anyone ever be doing that, but that was something that was more popular in like the 2000s, in like the 2010s. We're in 2024. You can't find anything productive to talk about. Like, if you have to rely on talking about black women, then you have major problems. And also, I don't know what black woman has literally turned you down, Andrew Schulz, because I bet there was one. And you're clearly hurt by that, okay? There's something about Andrew Schulz. It's the mustache. It's everything for me. It's the comfortability he has to literally sit down on his platform and just go at it and literally not censor anything and just go bam, 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 bam. I don't live for that personally. Way too comfortable, because he's besties and buddies with Charlemagne the God. Now, if you are a sensible black person, then you don't claim Charlemagne the God. You've allowed an Andrew Schulz and someone like an Andrew Schulz to feel comfortable enough to make such commentary about black people, specifically black women. I'm tired of being the part of the joke. I'm tired. But you know what? I try not to feel down about it anymore. I definitely did once upon a time. Over on my channel, I used to talk about, oh, this person did that, this person's racist, this person did that. And of course we had those conversations here and there, but quite frankly, I'm tired of it. I think every black person that I know is tired of being the butt of the joke. It's scary. It really is scary. And I know that Russ went on Andrew Schultz's podcast, I think it was like a while ago, and was talking about there's nothing more stranger than a white person who's like constantly in black people's business.
Really what I think people should be like looking into is white people's fascination with black trauma.
Ooh.
That is, to me,
talk to us,
is very bizarre, because
black people are also fascinated with black trauma.
That makes more sense, because it lands and it resonates. White people are fascinated with black trauma because it's exciting to them, because it's over there.
Okay.
But they can get close enough to experience it, but guess what? When it gets a little too real, they go home.
And I think he generally is talking about you, Mr. Andrew Schulz. Now, there's so many people to blame. Why did ShxtNGigs go on this podcast? Have you not seen any clips about Andrew Schulz? Do you not know that he's a controversial being? You probably don't want to align with him, especially when you're doing ever so well for yourselves. I feel like the PR team, I mean, as much as I want to be like, oh my God, fire them, you still showed your true colors. Andrew Schulz is making quote unquote jokes, because that's what it is, dark humor. I think dark humor is a spectrum. I think there's some comments and some things that people get on into where I'm like, you know what? Cool, that's not too offensive, like, sure, okay? And then there's things that's hella offensive, and it's like, yo, there's no way you just said that. And to also do that with your chest as well, knowing the cameras are rolling, lights, camera, action, shoot, not even taking that out and rewatching it, babes, you're a monster, a different type of breed, you know what? And you know what, Andrew Schulz will get it, he will get it coming to him at some point, like, but then again, it's like, he's probably always been this way, and he's like 40 years old. He probably has no desire to change, and he is still on defensive mode of like, I'm not apologizing for shit. And it's like, bro, things must be different. I don't know. Like, that level of privilege is insane, by the way. To be like, I'm not apologizing for shit. You guys are sensitive. It's the fans always doing the most. Like, that level of privilege, Lord, I would love to receive a day in my life. I know I'm never going to. Anytime I've come across Andrew Schulz, I think it's been offensive upon offensive upon offensive. I mean, there've been times where I was like, okay, this is quite funny. But that wasn't when he was talking about like race or religions or groups of people. It was just about like other random stuff. I'd be like, okay, that's actually quite funny. Like, how did someone think of that? But it was never anything offensive. But that's not to say that this man has not built his career off of literally antagonizing groups of people and literally just saying outlandish things. People like Andrew Schulz will never ever And that's not me that's not me saying that you should in the first place, but I'm just saying that a lot of people are very calculated here. You would never, ever, ever go after a Jewish person. You just wouldn't, because we know what that's going to look like, and rightfully so. Don't try it. But it's the comfortability to go for black people, and it's the fact that he knows there's going to be no repercussions. He's the type of person to be like, my best friend's black, I can say the N-word. My friend gave me the N-word pass, so I'm therefore literally going to say it and yell it at the top of my lungs. And probably does. And let's just call it what it is. He is racist. Very much racist and loud and proud about it. But because he's been given such a big platform and because nothing's been taken away from him, he's like, I'm going to continue. And it's all in the name of comedy. I wouldn't say I've looked at ShxtNGigs and thought, oh my God, their content, like I have to watch it, otherwise my life will never go on. Like, bro, I'm good. I kept it scrolling sometimes and I'm pretty much good. Men with microphones, please take it away. You're not really spitting any facts, you're spitting venom. And babes, I ain't got time for that.
Make sure you guys go and follow me over on Instagram. It's Keisha_. It will be on the screen for you guys right now. It's a fun time over on my Instagram. Not only do I look beautiful, I want to show it off to the world, because why the hell not? We all do it. I've been posting some stories where I feel like I'm connecting with you guys deeply, and I feel like I'm taking Instagram a lot more seriously than I've ever done. And despite me getting hacked, I'm still like, you know what, the show must go on, babes. No one's gonna stop my shine. Absolutely not. So do me a favor, yes, you watching right now, because girl, my back has been hurting. Oh, Keisha, why is your back hurting? Because literally I feel like I've been carrying the scene recently, to me, in my humble opinion. Okay, do me a favor and just go and show some love over on there. Give me a follow. It literally costs you nothing and takes what, less than 10 seconds. So what are you waiting for? People always look forward to me saying that part. You guys are weird. But yeah, make sure you guys go and follow me. I double dare you. Is the challenge accepted or not?
I hate people being in my DMs be like, oh my God, Keisha, please talk about the whole Fuhad and James situation. What? They don't care about me. They don't care about our kind. Leave them alone. They do not give a flying monkeys. You can't make somebody care. They only care because people are calling them out and because they feel like, oh my God, I might lose business opportunities. Oh my God, we're at the top of our career right now. I might lose this. I might lose that. I might lose this. They don't give a flying monkey. Listen, I'm all here for a joke. I don't want people to think that, oh my God, you're so sensitive, because I'm actually not. I'm actually such a chill person. My love language is cackling and laughing, and then these men love cackling too, clearly. But you know, I love laughing, and I love jokes, and I think that there's so many jokes from comedians where I'm like, oh my God, you ate with that. But there's also times where it's like, no, this is downright disrespectful, and nobody should be laughing, you know? And I get people can laugh awkwardly, but I don't think that James or Fuhad was really laughing awkwardly in any of these clips. I think it was more of a thing where it's like, yo, but you found it funny. Andrew Schulz basically had a mission. He wanted to embarrass these boys and kind of make them the joke of the podcast episode, and it worked. This guy generally thinks he's untouchable, and he reminds me so much of Zach Justice, you know, the guy who constantly loves talking about black women, loves making inappropriate sexual jokes as well. Nobody talks about that. These are white men who are talking about things they know nothing about, and then will love to say stuff like, oh, you know, I've had my own struggles too. Everybody's had their struggles. Let's not take that away from anyone. You know, everyone's had their struggles with, maybe some people grew up a little bit more poor. People struggled with trying to find a job. People struggled with bullying. There's so many scenarios in which people had their struggles, right? And that's fine. That's somebody's story. But this guy would then go ahead and mention that when we're talking about black people's struggles. That's two different, like we're not going to go tit for tat, but I feel like read the room. This guy knows exactly what he's doing. I feel like he literally wakes up with like notes written down in his notes app, like, okay, so I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that, and I make sure to go. Like, you're generally a disgusting person. You're a disgusting excuse of a human being. To continue like this, but it's all in the sake for comedy, you need to G-check yourself. Not respectfully, disrespectfully, okay? So let's go ahead and get on into this article that I have over here. I'll link down below for you guys if you guys want to read the full thing. So it's called ShxtNGigs Face Major Backlash. When will comedians stop targeting black women for cheap laughs? I don't know. You tell me. Whatever it is that you like it. Like it in peace. Why do we have to then be in that same conversation? You like what you like, sure. I'm not going to be mad at someone, oh my God, you don't like black girls. Sure. So, hosts of the popular podcast ShxtNGigs, aka Shitty and Giggly, James and Fuhad are facing heavy backlash after a video of them laughing along with racist jokes about black women made by comedian Andrew Schulz went viral recently. The fact that he has a platform is very telling of the type of time we live in. It's never going to be safe for a black woman. The black woman is always going to be the most disrespected person, point blank, period. I know they say in America, but in life, period, okay? I don't think people come to our defense nearly as quickly as they do a black man. I mean, black men still have their struggles. There's no denying that, and I'm not going to take that away from them ever. Even things like police brutality and stuff, like, I'm never going to take that away from the hardships that dark-skinned men have to face, black men have to face. But when it comes to protecting black women, where's everyone at? Like, it's crickets, or it's just like, oh, let me laugh along with the joke. And that's what these two men did. And they should be absolutely embarrassed and ashamed of themselves. But they're probably not. They're probably just thinking, damn, people are still talking about it today. It's been like 5 days. Like, that's the energy that's given. And I feel like they genuinely are going to be just fine. Just fine. So you guys need to stop stressing. The controversy erupted when clips featuring Schulz promoting harmful stereotypes about black women surfaced on social media. He was also making like slave jokes, which is like, who the like, sorry? That level of comfortability, that level of protection you have, many will never. And that's something that I've become very, I wouldn't say accepting of, because it does frustrate me sometimes, but I mean, I have become quite accepting of that and understanding that this is just the time we live in and have been living in, to be honest. And whilst things are progressing and stuff, there's still a lot of racism happening. I do want to quickly touch upon something, because I am from the UK, but that's not to say that there is no struggles here. People love to make it seem like, oh, what do you know? What do you know? Like, you guys don't struggle over there. Don't be ignorant. Let's not use the ignorant card now. Let's educate ourselves. Yeah, you didn't pay attention in class, but you have Google. You can do a 1, 2, 2, 3, 4 Google search and gain some knowledge before you start to leave disgusting, disturbing comments in my comment section, babes. I ain't got time for that. And quite frankly, I will read you depending on what day it is. Luckily for your sake, today is a Thursday and I feel like going off. So it shouldn't need to get to that, is what I'm trying to say. It should be a thing of like common sense. Everybody has their struggles. It doesn't matter where that black person is located in the world. I know I definitely have mine, okay? Just because I'm not vocalizing it every 2.5 seconds doesn't mean I don't have my struggles, and doesn't mean that England, London specifically, is a safe space. Like, are you dumb or stupid? Choose your fighter. Like, there's rioting happening. Maybe it's a thing where they're showing more things about, like, American media here in, like, the UK news stations and stuff, and maybe it's not the other way around. I don't know. But either way, can we not be ignorant? I'm generally just tired of having to have these conversations. I'm tired of feeling like an outcast. Luckily, I don't give a F anymore. If somebody says, oh my God, I don't like black women, I'm not even going to ask you why. You said what you said. And I'm gonna keep it pushing. This isn't the first time that Andrew has leaned into problematic and disgusting racial humour, and it's becoming increasingly uncomfortable to watch. During a discussion on the so-called black girl effect, if you guys don't know what that is, it's pretty much like a TikTok trend where there'll be like a white guy and a black woman, you know, boyfriend and girlfriend, or married or whatever, and when they get together, he would technically have like a different aesthetic in a way, or like he'll be a lot more sharper or a bit more polished, dress a bit better compared to when they first started dating, or when they first, like, you know, got together. And for me, I don't think the trend is that problematic. I think that obviously do stuff that you want to do, but I guess people would call it the black girl effect, because the black woman will be able to kind of like, you know, give them a little bit more sense and direction when it comes to their styles, because some people truly can't dress, point blank period. Some people genuinely, the face card is there, the body is tea, but the fashion sense just doesn't work. Like, how do you, like, it doesn't make sense to me. Trust me, I know people like that where you just can't dress. And I know it's subjective, but you just can't dress. You just can't quite dress. But then once we pattern that, you're all the way fine. Do you know what I mean? So if it's done consensually and the guy wants to do it, and it seems like he wants to do it, because in a lot of these videos he's literally happier and he's got a sense of confidence now. And I think that that's something that people don't like to look at when it comes to black women. They have this nurturing side to them, and people always want to do the whole stereotype of, oh my God, you're too loud, you're too confrontational. Well, bitch, I mean, I'm not waking up this way. If you try me, then what do you expect? You want to be able to walk all over me, but I don't defend myself. People don't talk about the nurturing side of black women. I mean, I'm not going to ever sit down here and tell you what we are or what I am personally. I know not everyone's the same, but for the most part, black women are very nurturing, very caring, will sit you down and want to hear your problems. I think a lot of people are living in a stereotype day and age just because of black women have hurt them. And I don't mean physically. I mean, maybe it hurt you that much and the heartbreak was that much that you just couldn't go on to... It's insane. It's truly insane. And it's so interesting because as much as a lot of black English... As much as it's a lot of black people... As much as it's a lot of black people having this conversation, I'm seeing like white men get involved, white women getting involved. it's interesting to hear their take too. It really is. Now, can some of it be performative? Who's to say? But it is interesting to see everybody's kind of like speaking up about it, and it's important. I saw this video of this white man. I probably would have inserted it at the beginning of this video, but I saw a video of this white man. I was just thinking, like, if more people thought like this.
So Andrew Schulz and these two black men go on an Andrew Schulz podcast making fun of black women, saying that they're the hardest today because they never shut the fuck up and they always argue. So let me ask you one question, guys. Why is it when it's a white wife with a black husband, it's twice the divorce rate when it's compared to a white marriage, but when it's a black wife with a white man, it's 44% less chance of a divorce? Maybe black women ain't the fucking problem. And maybe you need to turn around and look yourself in the fucking mirror and realize you got mommy issues and you hate black women. Or maybe you just need to go party with P. Diddy because you clearly don't like women.
Because people love to make it seem like you can't marry a black woman, the relationship's never going to work. People love to make it seem like, oh, if you get with a black woman, the relationship's never going to last. What? How small-minded are you people? How small-minded are you people? Oh my god. And to any black girl who hasn't started like dating or anything, or who feels like, oh my god, like people don't like me, go where you're celebrated is the biggest tip, right? Go where you're celebrated and feel loved, no matter what that looks like for you. People do love you. The ones who are the loudest are the ones who unfortunately have platforms, or the ones who literally look the dirtiest and ugliest is the people on Twitter who literally are jobless. Yeah, only got pennies in their pocket. And yes, I'm gonna go there. It's always the crusties doing the most. So Schulz took the opportunity to spout derogatory remarks, claiming men who date black women shave their heads because they're stressed by black women who complain about ish all the time, and grow beards to soften the blow from getting slapped. That was just a disgusting comment to make, because then it's two things here. You're talking about physical abuse now. Are you trying to say that black women are constantly like hitting their partners? I don't F with that whatsoever. I think that shouldn't be a colour thing we're doing now. It doesn't make sense whatsoever. And are we trying to make it seem like white people are exempt from these things? That is the mind-boggling thing to me. Anybody is capable of anything. You are a 40-something-year-old sitting your ass cheeks down, but you haven't even washed them, but you're here with your microphone moving this is what he does every single time. I don't know what problem you've got. I don't know what ants are in your pants, but do better. Andrew, a white comedian born and raised in the East Village, a predominantly white neighborhood, has built a reputation for adopting an on-stage persona that feels like it's lifting straight from Def Comedy Jam, making jokes about black people with an upsetting sense of familiarity. Given that he got his start with Charlemagne the God, which I mentioned earlier, that's my Bessie and a Tessie. He lets me say the N-word, Sam. Let me stop. Social media erupted in outrage over James and Fuhad's decision to not only sit quietly. At the same time, Andrew unleashed his usual brand of racially charged humour and toxic rhetoric, but also actively laughed along as though it was just another punchline. Now, you can do certain things if you're uncomfortable. Fair enough, I would have thought that in the beginning, but now that more things have resurfaced from them on their own platforms where they're editing it and posting it, that level of comfortability, Jesus Christ. The way that these two men think are the way a lot of black men think in the UK as well, specifically London. That's all I know. Okay, that's all I can speak on. A lot of them are very small-minded. Now, there are so many black men who date black women too. It's not just a thing where it's like, oh my god, no, it's not that. There are so many people that I know personally anyways who do date black women. And I'm not talking about light skins or biracial people. I'm talking about like dark skinned black women. And rightfully so, period. But there's also a lot of them who are like, I only date lighties. If you're from London, then you know. Especially when I was in college. No, when I was in secondary school. So from like 2011 to 2015, 16, I think. It was a thing where, geez, being dark skinned, you're gonna love. For real, you had to be there. Like, those years, people only liked light skins. As in, they don't see you. You know, people say, oh my god, I don't see colour. They saw colour. They don't see you. You're not a part of this. Don't even come and approach. Don't even talk to me. That's literally what it was giving. I never hated anybody. I never hated light skinned people because they were the ones that always chose them. In my mind, I always found it confusing because my parents always made me feel beautiful and loved, and I grew up in a very loving family where we all love each other, and I'm aware that if somebody doesn't like me, it's a them problem. I'm not missing out on much. I think what's for you is for you and will never pass you. But I always wondered, like, what is it with this infatuation with lighties? And that's how they would literally say it, lighties. I really like light skins, lighties. Like, that's why I probably never dated as well. I'm not mad at it though, but I never dated as young as maybe other people did. Because I just never felt like the chosen one, or I never saw someone who looked like me being in a relationship close to me. my age as well, so I kind of assumed a lot of people were that way. But then the more you go out and the more you live your life, the more experiences you see, the more people you get to talk to, the more you know that no, not everybody is small-minded. And I think a lot of people need to go out and touch grass. I think a lot of people think small-minded based on one situation that's hindered them for whatever reason. Baby girl, everyone goes through heartbreak. You need to heal from it and then you move on. But don't see everyone as the same. Oh, because this black woman did me dirty, it means every black woman's the same. Generalizing is insane. I know his parents were calling him. They saw the, you know, Nigerians don't like shame. Do not bring embarrassment or shame to this family, okay? Why is your name in the media for wrong reasons? Like, I know his parents were cussing him the flip off. I know he got relatives back in Nigeria cussing him the flip out. Listen, I'm sure their family members have cussed him out enough. They've seen the comment section. I'm going to end this video over here, but I'm going to finalize it by saying you, Mr. Drake lookalike, yeah? I get it, you're mixed and everything, but you ain't white passing, so don't be doing too much now, okay? Because a lot of people be thinking, okay, you know what? I might be closer to white than dark, so I can fit. No. Remember at the end of the day, you still look pretty black to me, okay? Just do better, you know, just do better. But then again, it's like, how could they do better though? Because they're basically being themselves and saying things in 4K. Maybe just think before you speak and think, how would the audience take this kind of message, okay? They'll be just fine. Everything's gonna be good. They'll be back in like, what, 1 to 2 weeks or so, or even tomorrow, who knows? But yeah, comment your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section, and I'll catch you guys real soon for a brand new video. Bye!